Okay, so today's Sunday talk. Welcome everybody. Uh, Please ask questions on YouTube live chat if you have any questions. And we have our assistant here who's gonna tell me the questions, and I can hopefully answer them half um, well as far as I can. And I think that's it. The good thing about giving Dhamma talks about coming from the tradition I come from is I come from a tradition of Ajahn Brahm and also from Ajahn Chah, obviously from the Thai forest tradition. And our aim is to always give really bad Dhamma talks, so we don't have to keep giving these Dhamma talks. So please forgive me if I'm not going to give the best Dhamma talk because it's not my aim, and we're not aiming to be the best. We're aiming to be 70%. We're just here to inspire people. Plus, it's bit strange to give Dhamma talks anyways to just a camera. I don't know if a lot of you have spoken to just to camera, and it's you have to sort of imagine the camera as a person, and so I give this presence of talking to you. And I'm supposed to introduce myself. So my name is Bhante Mudito. If nobody knows me yet, I've been here in BSV, Buddhist Society of Victoria in Melbourne for over a year and a half now, getting close to 2 years in some point. Do we have technical issues? Don't do it again. I don't want to give this Dhamma talk twice again. But I have lived in WA in Western Australia with Ajahn Brahm since 2010. I've been in a monastery since 2010. And I think that's enough. I think if you want to know more about my story, please watch the video of why I became a monk. So I don't have to tell my story every time. Anyways, so again, what should I talk today? The thing is, we don't really, at least not some of us. I have other teacher friends who they do prepare a lot for talks. I don't tend to prepare too much because it just occupies my mind too much. I tend not to put too much effort into this talk. So if it comes out, it comes. If it doesn't, well, too bad. Maybe I don't have to give a talk in 2 weeks' time. This thing reminds me of where I'm giving a talk to this camera like this. I was in Thailand one time as a monk. We went visiting all these famous teachers, what they call in Thailand in Ajahns. And I was in this, and we went to this forest monastery in, I think, was northwest of Thailand. Anyways, it was quite an old monastery. There was a lot of wood carvings and old things being preserved for a long time. A monastery, and it wasn't really a forest monastery. It was this kind of like a small village temple. It was on the outskirts of the forest. So we went to the forest monastery and then we came back and we just visited this kind of old temple, which are numerous in Thailand. In Thailand, these temples are like gathering places, so they're everywhere. It's like a village meeting place where people used to always go. And I think even these days, they have a significant role in the society there. And they had this interesting pedestal. I was trying to figure out what it is. It's they had normally have in monasteries we have the shrine where you have the Buddha statue, but then about maybe 3 meters from that, a little bit on the side, in this Dhamma hall, we've got Dhamma hall. It's the meditation hall, or Dhamma hall, the hall where we give the teachings, and there was this high pedestal, and it went up about 2 meters, and it looked like you had to climb up there. And then it was surrounded by 4 walls. You could get into that, and then there's like a little roof on top of that. So I asked her, like, what is this thing? And they said in this tradition and in that part of Thailand, in the olden days, it used to be that the monks used to go into this. I really I don't know what's the word in English, but they go into this up in this pedestal, but the the walls were just above your face, the monk's face. So the monk climbs up there, and when he's giving the Dhamma talk, he gives the talk as like there's just somebody speaking up there. There's nothing to do with, they don't worship the person giving the talk. There was just that the monk goes there, the teachers, and they gave a talk. This thing is not in use anymore, but it used to be that in that part of Thailand, in that period, was that the monks wanted to make sure that the Dhamma is, it's nothing to do individually of that monk. It's not the monk who's giving the talk. It's about just the teaching itself. So I thought it was a great idea just to I don't know if I got my message across really clearly what I was trying to say, but I thought it was a great idea from those monks. So you just sat in this a little bit of above the people, so even the people in the back would hear it. There's a reason probably why they raised it up, but you were sat behind the screen a little bit, so the Dhamma, the teachings, were not coming from some famous monk. They were just, people just sat there, and they didn't have to concentrate on the people. They could just sit down quietly, close their eyes, and then the word of the Buddha would just come from that box. So it was quite an interesting thing. And I know in some traditions, I don't know in Burma, I know in Sri Lanka they have those fans where, and I think the tradition for that is partly also because they have the fan, so you keep it in quite often on your face. I've even seen the monks keep it on the face. They speaking behind this fan, so it doesn't come from individual person. It doesn't come from a monk. We always associate ourselves with this person with their face, and if you take the face away, it just comes from more source, which is not the person in there is not so important. It's the thing what we are trying to teach is the important thing. But anyways, coming back to that why I came to this topic is just because it's talking to this camera. It's a bit surreal experience. But there was one question there before I started. There was somebody asked about how can I practice spirituality at home? Was that the question? How can I practice spiritual healing at home? I thought about it a little bit. Spiritual healing, I think what happens is we all think, me included, we think there's something wrong with ourselves. You think you want to fix something, you want to heal your spiritual, there's trauma in your life, there's you have things which are missing in your life. You wish you were more confident, you wish you were more, I wish I didn't have doubting mind. I definitely wish quite often that, and I just, yesterday hit me quite hard again, like I have to give a Dhamma talk today, I have to give the talk, I have to perform, I have to be in front of, and even though I say it doesn't matter whether I give a good talk or not, it does matter in my life, and I start thinking about it a few days ahead. It's gonna come. What if I don't know anything? What if? And there is that the fear as a monk when we had this famous teacher, the Buddha's assistant Ananda. When we have the story in the suttas where Ananda said that when the Buddha died, he literally just lost it. He said he didn't know left to right. He didn't know Dhamma from the teachings from which not the teachings. He didn't know right from wrong. He said the grief was so great that he just forgot everything. And for me, I felt yesterday the same, that I felt that I don't know anything. I'm not adequate. I'm not good enough. But the reality is that we are all good enough. If your life was just perfect, you didn't have any problems, you are the straight tree in the forest, like Ajahn Brahm has the simile of trees in the forest. If you were the tree which is perfectly straight, perfect canopy, and you just all the other trees in the forest are not quite as perfect, that one perfect tree is just ignored by everybody. That one tree which is perfectly straight, knows exactly how to grow, is even in all ways. It doesn't have any holes in it. It doesn't have burn marks. It doesn't have things which has happened all this lifetime. It really isn't that beautiful of a tree. So how do you practice spiritual healing or growth in at home? And that's why the most of the time, especially now, a lot of people spend a lot of time in at home, is don't take too much refuge or solace from the computer, from the stories you hear from everywhere else. You take solace on TV. Take solace, take comfort on yourself. Just be curious about what's happening in your own mind. Be interested. Give attention to your own mind a little bit. Quite often we ignore what's happening inside, and we tend to just fill the void. You go in the morning, you first thing you do, you take your phone, maybe put the radio on, put the coffee on. Then you fill the voidness of your life straight away. You want to add sound into your life. And I'm not saying it's a mistake, but once in a while, maybe just stay in your bed in the morning or get up and just sit down and don't look at the screen. Don't put on the radio. Just drink the coffee cup quietly. Take your time of just looking what's happening in the mind. And then if you can see those things, the doubt, whatever negativity there is in the mind, see if you can gladden the mind. What would bring happiness in your life? It's not the things that you could now go out, meet your friends. It's not the thing that you wish the world was in a better place than what it is now. It's not the thing that you wish you had, your mom wasn't in the care home, and there is other people there who has now the coronavirus. As I just talked to my friend of mine, Bhante Mudito from Perth, and that's the case for him. And there's nothing he can do about it. So we just have to work on this. Find the brightness of your mind. I was just thinking about just a little bit before I got here about what should I talk about, because like I said, my mind has been a bit scattered recently, not so much about maybe what's happening outside in the world, but because of we've been trying to finish this building project, and then I got stuck on things which it doesn't really bring any happiness in my mind. And I was thinking, what should I talk about today? And I think one thing with the spiritual healing as well, you can do contemplation. In Buddhism, we have this idea of contemplation is that you contemplate the teachings. And quite often what happens, we are always, if you look at your mind, like I said, if you just instead of when you turn on the coffee and you put on the radio or TV or look at your phone, just sit down, just look outside, drink the coffee, and just and close your eyes and just look what's inside of your mind. If you really see what's in your mind, you see that's your quiet contemplation is going all the time. Your doubt is your contemplation object. Your inadequacy is your contemplation object. Contemplation is constantly over and over putting effort into one object and dwelling on it. So what's your thing you're dwelling on? Are you contemplating uncertainty and how to fix it? Is that a wise contemplation from your behalf? Is your contemplation, I don't know anything. What should I do? I don't have a job. How do I feed the family? Are you constantly putting that into your mind? Do you think you can find the answer that way? Most likely not. All of us, we know that answers come to your mind if you can just rest on the problem. The problem is there. We know it too well, but if you really, really try to find, it's like finding the name of somebody. Oh, I don't know. I'm really bad with names. And it's so embarrassing when you're looking at somebody and you've been living with them for 6 months and you don't know their name. But all of a sudden when you walk out and then, oh, that was her name. That's how it comes. When you let it rest, it will come to you. The answers will come to you. But if you keep dwelling and you think you're going to fix this problem by constantly protecting the future, and that if I just think it over and over again, it somehow will be resolved. You know it doesn't. You just get deeper into that hole. So I was thinking about what to talk today, and maybe there's been too much talk about death and all that, but it isn't one contemplation, which is, I was taught as a monk, it's an important thing, and it is a good contemplation object, death, because quite often a lot of things they sort of just fall. It just doesn't have the grab. It doesn't take hold of your mind. But death, especially days like this, we are sort of faced with it a little bit more. As a monk, I'm faced with it more often because not just I do funerals, but because I do this contemplation of death contemplation more often. And quite honestly, it has kept me as a monk for quite a while. Not in a morbid way that that there's nothing in the world, I will die, but it is a little bit in that way that I'm clearing my mind by looking the contemplation the death a little bit, say, I'm doing the right thing. Am I doing the right thing at the moment? I am. I'm doing the things which I want to do. Do I want to have a career? No, I don't. I want to be a monk. Do I want to have family? Sometimes yes, but do I really want to, just put all the effort into it, and in some point I will be departed from them? Maybe not. So we have this famous story in our Nikayas, in the books we have, in the things which were passed down from the time of the Buddha. And then in the time of the Buddha, there was a famous lady, and her name is Gisa Gotami. And she had a problem of getting married, and she had a problem of then conceiving a child. So she was really happy when she got the child. She had I think, baby boy. So she felt that, she's been now done her duty, that, she was so glad I got the baby. Everything is now going to be fine. I have a husband. I have a family who will take care of me. In those days, there was no not so many opportunities for ladies, so that was, you felt obliged to have the family and keep the family tradition going. So when she got the baby, she was happy that, now it's going to be all good. She was, there's nothing to worry about anymore. It's like you have your job. Okay, well, now I have a job. I'm secure in this life. You have your house. Well, you belong somewhere. That's what she felt like. So, but then what happened is that the baby died. And she was so distraught, she didn't know what to do. So she left from the home on the streets and looking for care for this baby. The baby was already dead. So she was carrying this dead baby everywhere and asking for, can you help me? Can you help me? And then some people said, well, they were trying to find a cure, and then they look at it, but they obviously the baby was dead. So they didn't want to tell her, or maybe they did tell her that, listen, your child is dead. There's nothing we can do about it. But she would not take that answer. It was her life depended on that. It was, what's going to happen now? The thing I put so much effort into, I've invested so much thing, and it's like you're thinking about the future. Now it's gone, and losing your child is one of the hardest things, they say, for mothers. And I'm sure that is correct. To lose somebody who you feel older than you, it's okay, it's time to go. But for somebody to lose their children, it feels like it's not time. It's not the time yet. So she went around, and she was really. She basically, they said she's gone crazy. So people started to actually just mock her, that she's gone crazy. They just ignored her, make fun of her. But then somebody had a compassion, and they said, oh, well, there's a teacher in a village, go and see the teacher. And she went to see the Buddha, and she said, is there anything you can do to bring back this child? And the Buddha said, well, bring me mustard seeds, or maybe one seed. It was maybe even, but I think it says seeds. And she said, is that it? And the Buddha said, yes, but bring the mustard seeds from a house where nobody has died in the house. And at the time, the mustard seed is like a staple in India. You put mustard everywhere, mustard seeds, and it's part of the way you season your curries and everything. So she was really relieved. It's easy to find mustard seeds. It's easy. So she went around back into the village and went to the first house and said, oh, you have mustard? Do you have mustard seeds? And they said, oh, yes, of course we have mustard seeds. And then she said, oh, has anybody died in this household? Has anybody ever been, deceased at your family? And they said, of course, yes, people have died in our family as well. And she said, okay, well, I have to move on, So she hurried along everywhere. She went from house to house to house. They always had mustard seeds, but they always had people who have passed away. And the story goes in that when she went one of the houses, I said, oh, of course there's been people dead here in the family. There's actually the amount of people who have died, it's more numerous than people who are living. And that's quite interesting to contemplate as well. More people have died than there is people alive. There will be more people dead in 50 years, 100 years, by far more than there are people alive at this time. So she gained back to her senses and came back to her senses and realized there's always that every family has death. Every household in those days has somebody who has died. There's nothing wrong about losing a child. It's nobody's fault. It is just a nature. We say, in Buddhism we talk about quite often about teaching of the teaching of karma, as we say in Pali. it's not your karma. It might be, but most likely it's not. Most likely things are just nature. Nature takes over, and we have to just adapt into it. You to get born into human life is the problem. Death is not a problem. To go back into this lifetime, like you said, we just chanted the Metta Sutta, where the last verse is the Nahi jati kabbasayam punareti. To is not to born again into this world. That is the problem. Death is it's not such a big thing. It's the rebirth which is the problem in Buddhism. You should have read the fine print before you get born as a human. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think there's going to be aging? Do you think there will be sickness? Coronavirus? Do you think there will be death coming at the end? Yes, there will be. When we go to the funerals, as a monk, we do this chanting of Anishavata Sankara. And again, sorry, I'm still dwelling on this, like how to do spiritual healing at home. So I'm talking about death contemplation. So a little bit more about that. Maybe I'll give a little bit something else as well. So we chant this thing which is Anishavata Sankara. And the chant goes Anichavata Sankara Upadavaya Dhammino Upachitva Nirochanti Te Sangvupasamo Sukho. Inconsistent are compounded things, their nature to rise and pass away. They disrivel, they come apart as they are rising, but their total stilling is a bliss. And I think that's the big thing at the end. Desang vupasamo sukho. To start from the beginning is that the nature is to rise and pass away. Anichavata Sankara. Sankara, this cycle of birth and death, this Sankara of compounded things. The compounded things come together. Your mind and body come together, and then you have a rebirth. All of that will unravel at some point and move on. Your body will stay here, and this becomes soil and dirt and just dust. And the mind keeps going. Not in the way that, that we don't have an idea of, like the Hindus, we have there's actually like a mind stays itself, just goes into the stream and then keeps moving. No, your karma, it's more complicated than I must say. I don't really understand it really clearly myself, how it goes around, but the ending there, the total stilling is a bliss. There's a vipassana sukho. It's that why Buddhism will say everything is suffering, but this is actually path to leading, which leads to happiness. So stilling all of yourself, the mind, when it disappears, that is the highest happiness. So Buddhism, we are aiming for happiness, and that's why things like the death contemplation, it is a good thing even when you're at home and you look at the mind with your coffee cup in the morning, you're looking outside. Is it so bad? Does it matter what's happening in my mind? Does it matter if I have doubt? We don't try to care. We are caring about ourselves. When you look at it, it's like, well, death is coming. It takes the weight off that thing, makes it less. Does it matter so much? It's like I said with this building project. I must say, I must admit, I was stressed about it. Things didn't go my way. Um, things didn't, there's always things which go wrong in these things. But now that we have the virus, I said, well, did it really matter that much? No, it doesn't. It's not such a big deal. So that is spiritual healing. You're making your mind more bright. Contemplation is a good thing. You can contemplate things like anicca, impermanence. Everything is in constant change. Nothing in this world is something you can rely on. Only thing you can rely on yourself, and that is the not unfortunate thing, but that is the thing which is when you realize that it makes the initiative, makes you put more effort. I think quite often people come to talk to us monks. They talk about the spiritual things, and you tell people what they want to hear. People come and tell us about what they know about Buddhism. They all of these things they know. They ask us questions. Quite often, I think people put more effort still of just watching TV and forget about it. You want to forget the world. You just want to things go to your way. You don't want to be troubled. You just want to go to your work, come back home, do your things. Don't worry about it. I think that is not conducive for your spiritual healing. Just recently, there was somebody, a monk gave a little talk on this other channel. What they're doing at the moment, Bhante Mudito is doing that thing. I think quite a lot of people have seen it now. And there was a monk said, oh, now it's a good time to meditate. And straight away I heard somebody complaining about it. Well, how can you meditate at this time? Because if you lost your job and you're worried about feeding your children, if the last thing comes to your mind is to that we should meditate. Meditation is not putting things aside. It's not, in a sense it is, but it's not that we are trying to suppress things and we're ignoring the problems. Meditation is looking at it squarely in the eyes and say, okay, we have a problem. Houston, we going into the moon, with our air supplies is running out. There's no fuel to get back. What are we doing? Houston, we have a problem. I don't have a job. We have a problem. Is there something you can do about it? No. Well, what is then the best thing to do about it? Put it aside in the sense that you are just saying, okay, it's there. Take it as a package, as a luggage where you're carrying everywhere. You've been contemplating this problem for a long time. Now, put the heavy bag to the side and see if there's something comes out of that. It doesn't mean you're going to sit 1 hour ignoring the problem, pushing it aside. That's a wrong way of meditating. That's not going to be conducive to your spiritual healing. Really think about, I'm taking a break, which is good. We don't try to solve the problems of the world. They're never going to be solved. You're not going to solve your problems. Only thing you can do is just to put it aside and give it distance. That is conducive to spiritual healing. I'm telling you, the best vacation is not the vacation you take from your home, which is maybe you wouldn't want to be at your home. The best vacation now is to take a vacation from yourself. Even if it's a brief moment, even if it's just look in the mind and say, that's okay, and you cleanse the mind. That is taking a break from your excessive thinking mind. Very good. Do we have any questions? Yes.
Just to address the spiritual healing question,
Yeah.
she actually further wrote that for the reference, she is going through an extremely tough time in her life, and she's trying hard to heal and leave the past behind, but she's constantly haunted by flashback. It impacts her ability to function normally in her day to day and can often be quite paralyzing. She really just wants to heal and move on from the past.
I think quite often what happens is you wish you could just forget. I just want to forget about this thing. I just want to move on. And that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is your tree has now marks. Your tree is now bent. Your tree has now lost some of the canopy. Your tree is, because of that, your tree is more beautiful. And that is the reality of it. If you, like I said in the beginning, if the tree was perfectly straight, it was in a row with all the other trees, and you could just look, past one tree and you don't even see the other trees because they're in perfect rows. They're all perfectly grown in those plantations. Do you want to be a tree like that? Because then you don't have to care. You never had a problem in your life. Nothing is ever lost. I also heard just from one nun. I was listening to Dhamma talk this morning a little bit. She said, nothing is ever lost. And I thought it was like exactly right. Do you think we didn't have problems? Do you think me as a monk never had a problem? Do you think I don't have problems now? Do you think a lot of people haven't suffered? Is your suffering the biggest thing or the most unique thing in a life? It's not. Give it a space. It's not your fault. It's not the universe's fault. But then, and also, you won't be able to forget it. That's how it works. That it doesn't work that way. You can move on. Yes, that you can do. But because of this, you will be a better person. Anything else?
Second question we have. Could you please speak about Brahma Viharas of Metta, Karuna, Mudita, and Upekkha in light of the current pandemic?
Okay, well, I mean, I can. How much time we have? 10 minutes. The thing is, it's interesting, yes. So Brahma Viharas, we have this idea in Buddhism. It's like a Brahmaloka. There is a spiritual beings which are only dwell in a certain. The mind is imbued with a certain type of mentality. So we have ideas like we always a metta is taught over and over again. The Buddha's the loving kindness, rather, if people don't know what metta is. Loving kindness is taught for us over and over again, and we, like in this morning, we chanted the Metta Sutta. Metta is the most important thing, and it's this million talks about metta, loving kindness, and it's true. We have to keep practicing loving kindness. This thing which doesn't depend on things which go right. It doesn't depend of loving kindness now, which doesn't depend on things going just right in the life. Without the coronavirus, without anything, I could do metta when everything is just perfect. No, you have to do metta in a time of adversary, at a time of, well, things are hard. That's when you have to put more effort into it. And I always really like to teach it as that you learn it somewhere. You learn it from someone, from a person who had probably a lot of problems in their life. They know really what metta is then. You learn it from people who took care of you. You know the feeling. And then you really have to do it for yourself first. You really have to learn how to do it for yourself, towards yourself first. So learn how to take care of yourself. Mudita, I love that word because that's my name. Mudita is a faculty where mudita is a feeling where something goes right in the world. Somebody has done a good meditation. Somebody's doing well in their life. Somebody has learned from their problems in life. You feel gladness. Oh, I'm glad she came out of that. She must have learned so much from that. You look at these people in your life and you feel gladness because they are doing well. It's not, there's the German word which we use in English as well, Schadenfreude, the where you feel happiness from other people's misfortune. It's the opposite of that. So we see in a term with this virus, we see that other people we coming together. People are feeling joyous that they understand now what what's the importance of other people now, and you can see and you rejoice on that one. Karuna is again it hasn't been mudita and karuna are the ones which are not actually taught that much. There's really not that many places to mention that in the suttas, and they're quite difficult feelings actually to get feelings. Maybe feeling is the word. I'm lack of a better word, but karuna is the one where compassion, where you feel compassion of others. But the problem with these things is, like with the karuna, it spills into that it's not a pure feeling. It's not a pure high state of mind where you just have compassion. You feel sort of like, oh, I feel compassion, but it spills into this kind of feeling of sadness. It's not a pure feeling like somebody who has got it comes from a place of non-self. All of these places, if there's self there, it's not a pure feeling of loving kindness. It's not a pure feeling of compassionate joy. It's not a pure feeling of compassion. It's the karuna or upekkha. They always tend to be tainted. They're difficult feelings but you understand if there's no self there, you care for others. That's why the Buddhists they said that the Buddha had really pure feelings of, he felt compassion for everybody because there was no sense of self, but he still felt, well, I know these things, I have to teach. That's why he came from a place of non-self. Well, then upekkha, equanimity, this evenness of mind, where you just said, whatever happens, you're not so affected in the of what happens in the outside world. Not that we don't care, not that we don't have compassion, not that we don't have loving kindness, but we come from a place where okay, somebody in your family dies. You said, okay, well, things are just coming to an end. Their mind and body came together. The mind, which is made out of things, the body, which is made out of things, they just disappearing and they moving along, and then maybe they come together in a different where in some point it doesn't, there is no, you don't create stories about it. Upekkati, you have equanimity with this world. You see how it's made out of things, how we're not so tossed around with the worldly winds, which take you as up and down, left and right, when things happen. With the winds of the universe. Anything else? I felt that was really bad answer, but I mean, nothing else comes to my mind. So
It's okay. I'm sure you can give better answer even next time. What is next time? Who knows? The next question is actually related to the one that you just mentioned. If there's no self, who gets enlightened? If there's no self, who hears my thoughts?
if there's no self, who hears my thoughts? If there's no self, who gets enlightened? Yeah, and the question starts with why, when, what. Ask questions. It's a joke. But one time there's this person. I'm sure a lot of people have watched the Dhamma talks of BSWA, and there's the one person who gets the microphone, and he always starts to get stories. It's like, anybody has questions? Oh yeah, I'm not mentioning his name, but it's just and then he just goes into this big storyline. And one time I was giving a talk for our youth group there, and this same person, even though he's not young anymore, he came to our youth group and he said, it's like, oh, there's a question. I said, question starts with why, when, what. It starts with a question. So it's a bit of a joke. But okay, so if there's no self, who gets enlightened? If there's no self, who hears my thoughts? It's like this thing is like, okay, if there's a tree in the forest and it falls down and nobody's there to hear it, will nobody, is there sound there to be? Is there sound? Well, it's a bit of a wrong way to look at it. It's yes and no. But it's only, basically the answer is no. Somebody has to observe these things. If there's nobody to observe those thoughts, let's say there's thoughts which you don't observe, they don't exist. You have to observe your thoughts. It's the paradox of that thing that if everything in the world in the universe doesn't exist until somebody observes it. I mean, so the same way, there are no thoughts or feelings or your body or your mind or anything if you don't observe it. It's you are creating your own world. You are observing your own thoughts, and that's why they're there. If you don't see them, and that's what happens where you go into deep meditation, you see that the thoughts are, you don't even have to go that deep meditation where you can see that the thoughts are coming. They are sort of starting to appear, and if you give them attention, they start manifesting. They make it bigger and bigger, and you're giving them interest. But if you don't give them interest, the thoughts almost like disappear. It's an interesting thing where you can start seeing that the thoughts are slowing down, and then you can see that there's a start sometimes, even when you're meditating. There's a start of thought coming. Something which is like you always put interest into it. But as you said, I'm not it's not like you're mentally putting effort, but there is the training of doing that for quite a long time, and you're seeing it coming, and you just don't pay attention to that. You're just like, no. You just put the blinds on. You ignore it. You ignoring, that's sort of the way. So no, the thoughts are there. Their mind is there because you observe it. Same with the question was about rebirth. If there's nobody there, what comes to? It's a difficult subject. And I'm not sure I'm skilled enough to explain it. but the mind and the body, mind is made out of many things, many things. The body is same way like the body is made out of things. The mind and body have to come together in order to have this human body. And if one of those things fall off, the other one falls off as well. The things when I just did the chanting, the compounded things. We don't say there is a soul. Everything is compounded things. Everything is made out of its own constitutions. Everything comes together, and then that constitutes as maybe a spiritual being, meaning devas, human, animal. Things come together, and then when they pass on, when those things die or fall from the realm, the things they unravel, they go, and it's not like they preserve somewhere in the universe. It doesn't work that way either. Nothing is really ever the same. There is no really just stream of consciousness which goes from life to life. That's an Hindu idea. Buddhism, we don't believe that way. But there's something same, but it's mostly still the water just flows, and you cannot say that is the river. It's a really, really complicated subject, and I'm definitely not sure. Definitely not a person who can explain it.
Next question. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. When you talk about one second, the caring, do you mean caring without condition?
Do I mean caring about condition? Without condition?
Yeah, that's mean
yes.
Unconditional love.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, I do mean that. I mean, yes, that's what it should be, but it is tainted with something. It's really, really hard to go above that. You care because you feel that if you don't, what will happen? What I didn't, and there's that idea of guilt. There's this idea of I'm doing this. This idea of what if. It doesn't come from a place of just non-self, which is you just care because it gladdens your mind. It uplifts the mind. It comes from the quite often. So what happens? Your caring it comes with a package. Your caring comes with in a way that you want things turn out to be a certain way. What if you just care without expecting the outcome? That is the actually better way to care. You are controlling things. That's why that's how quite often people care. You should eat this. You should do that. Don't meet others. Behave this way because I want to see you. I want to see you around. Well, the same way, we always encourage people to give dana, just give to a monastery, give to charity, give others, help others, because it reduces the sense of self. You just try to come from a place where see how much you're caring because of you need to control the world. See if you can lessen that idea. See if you can just I just do this out of compassion. You don't care about what's going to happen afterwards. And see if it feels nicer. It doesn't drag you down. Quite often we care and it drags us down. It should uplift us. That's the difference. It doesn't clan your mind. It actually drags you down. Quite often your caring drags you down. Anything else? Finally. Okay, good. Right. I think there's nothing.
Happy New Year to for
Happy
Thai
New Year.
people and also Sri Lankan
Oh, that's
people.
right. We have Songkran. Is it today? Songkran.
The Thai one is Thai New Year is tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow is a
Songkran.
Thai. Yeah, it's so it's the
Songkran is
same.
on. It's the day out. Oh
Yeah,
wait, it's also tomorrow.
yeah, the same day. So Happy New Year. It's a bit strange thing to have a New Year now, but I know in Thailand and Sri Lanka, Malay, Cambodia. I don't know Malay. No, I don't think they have the Chinese New Year, but the Happy New Year to Thais. Happy Songkran. Happy New Year for Sri Lankans. You have your what's your Sri Lankan New Year called? Supa something. Aluta. Okay, I'm not gonna repeat it. It's too long. I can repeat the two words. Sorry. Okay. Anyways, Happy New Year, and I see you in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully, Bhante Aranavihari will be next week, and we keep going with this. Thank you again for allowing me to talk, and hopefully there were few people watching. I certainly enjoyed giving these talks, and we out of here. What?
77 people watching.
77 people. Okay, it was nice to see everybody, and I hope to see you in 2 weeks. Tomorrow night we have meditation, 7:00, 7:30 our time. So please tune in if you wish, and that's it. We'll continue. Nice to talk to everybody. Sadhu, sadhu.